But first today, 34-year-old Lisa O'Sullivan suffers from 17 different medical conditions, including diabetes, osteoporosis and a visual impairment. When Lisa's vision deteriorated, she knew she needed a more accessible place to live in.
But Lisa ended up spending 8 years on the housing list in Cork. Last November, she received her first offer of accommodation. Unfortunately, they didn't take Lisa's situation into consideration.
Well, the first place that it was offered to me was by the City Hall, and it was in the city centre itself, but unfortunately it had stairs, and that wouldn't be appropriate because I'm actually a fall risk, so I wouldn't be able to manage that. I'm a fall risk because of the fact that my eyesight isn't great. I have osteoporosis, which basically, if I bang myself or anything like that, I can hurt myself. The second place was in Mayfield, which was at the other side of Cork City. I would have to get the number 8 bus down through the city centre and then out to Bishopstown, which is where services was. And also my mother wouldn't be able to visit me because it was going through the city and she was terminally ill. With the length of time that it would take me getting back home, I would need to get back home in daylight, and normally the length of time it would take me, it would be getting dark by that stage, and that would scare me.
And Lisa joins us now. You're very welcome to the morning show, Lisa.
Thank you very much for having me.
So you were on a housing list for 7 years before an offer was made to you.
That's correct. 7 long years.
And in that time, where were you? Where were you living?
I was in different privately rented accommodation.
Okay.
And I was in one particular accommodation for 3 years, and I had a lovely landlord and landlady who really took care of me, but unfortunately the accommodation was up for 14 steps to my front door, and they were the concrete steps.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that was very hard on me, and it was getting worse and worse with my mobility, basically.
Okay, your mobility and of course your vision.
Correct.
Was the problem. Just to explain to people, you weren't born blind?
No, no. It was basically, I'm adopted and I don't have any background and medical history information. And in 1978, that information wasn't passed through. And it turned out that I became a diabetic. The eyesight started deteriorating. It kept getting continually worse, and then mismanagement during the time this was happening in regards to my health. More illnesses started to appear, and it's only recently I found out that they were genetic. Okay. A lot of the illnesses that I have.
All right. You say that your eyesight was up around 16% at the start of all this.
At the start of it was 24%.
All right.
It went down to 16% in November. Because the stress of still looking for somewhere suitable and living in Dunmanway, which is where I was at that time, because I had to move out of the location that had the 14 steps. And when that happened, more stress again, and it's now down to 8%.
Okay. Is it continuing to deteriorate at a rate like that?
I'm hoping not. I'm trying to de-stress my life at the moment.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm hoping to try and keep it as it is at the moment.
Well, you've lost one of your eyes, haven't you? You had surgery. Okay, so...
that was removed 3 years ago because of the diabetes was extremely harsh, and it had to be removed because I was suffering from pain due to an ulcer that was after forming in the eye. Okay. And the best option to remove the pain was to remove the eye.
Oh, right.
So I have a prosthesis instead.
Okay, so bring us back to the housing situation. For the 7 years that you were waiting, did you get any correspondence from, is it Cork County Council, were they?
I was on both lists. I was on Cork City Council and Cork County Council, and I was after submitting all of the documentation they require, for example, consultants' notes, doctors' notes, health professionals' notes, accommodation that I was in, recommendations of what I should be in, things like that, and I got no correspondence up until the point where I was told you need to actually pick a list and then I had to resubmit everything again.
Pick a list of which, of what, sorry?
Of the area I wished to be in, either county or city.
Okay.
And I, at the time, during the 7 years, I was going to 4 different TDs to try and get some help. And they did make their representations on my behalf to the council.
And what were the council saying? Was it because there was so many people, other people on the list ahead of you? Because that's the way it works, isn't it? You know, priority is given to those who are on the list the longest.
There is a priority, but then there was also an emergency situation where there was flooding in Cork City by the Mercy Hospital about 2 years ago or so. And when that happened, they were prioritised. And of course I understood that, yet I still wanted and needed, I felt, accommodation that was more suitable.
And safe.
Exactly, yes. Safety in my mind is paramount, because I could easily break something or break myself or hurt myself.
Okay. Well, it must have been incredibly frustrating for you when they did eventually offer you a place, knowing that you had submitted all the necessary documentation and medical records, and the first thing you discover about it is that it's got a flight of stairs.
Yeah, after submitting information from consultant Dr. O'Halloran in the CUH that stated this person is unable to mobilise properly and is unable to go upstairs, they offered me accommodation in the city centre up a stairs, and I couldn't accept that.
Do you think they even actually read the letter that had been sent in, or was it a case of this is the next property you have available, oh, Lisa's on the list?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I know myself that it was totally unsuitable.
Okay. Like you say, your vision isn't great, and you've several other medical conditions too. So the next place offered to you was on the far side of the city.
That's correct, yes.
And a journey that, a 2-bus journey that you said would take up to 75 or 80 minutes to make.
Easily.
If the buses are running in your favour.
Exactly. Now, say for example, I go to the National Council for the Blind in Ireland, which is located in Ballincollig. I would have to get the number 8 bus into the city centre, then that would go to the bus station, wait there for another bus to go out to Ballincollig, and when I got there, I'd have to make the journey all the way back in after my appointment. Now, the people in the NCBI are absolutely brilliant, and they couldn't do enough for me. They have brilliant services, and they need support, because it is something that a person with my vision would require. Okay,
and of course, on short winter days, you need to be back where you need to be in your home.
I need to be in the home before it would get dark, because I can't see anything.
So what did you do in the end? How did you finally get something that's suitable where you are right now?
Basically, myself and my mother in November decided to camp out on the in the city hall, or sorry, in the county hall, excuse me.
And your mother at this time was terminally ill?
Yes, that's correct, yeah. She passed away on the 1st of November, or 1st of March, excuse me, this year. And she was a strong woman, and she basically wanted to help as much as she could in order to make sure I was settled. And we camped out in the county hall, waited to speak to somebody, and a representative of the county hall eventually came to speak to us. We were there for nearly 4 hours, and she spoke to us anyway, and that was the first time I ever heard of Clúid, which is the people that gave me the accommodation and my new home where I am now.
And what is Clúid? It's a housing organisation. It's
a housing association that basically takes your requirements and your needs, assesses you, and finds suitable accommodation for your needs. If you're a low-income family, or if you're a single mother, or it depends on your requirements.
And you'd never heard of this group before?
No, and they're there since 1971.
And how fast were they able to act after you got in touch?
Basically, they were telling me in January. I had 2 interviews, one in December and another in January, and they had something. And yet I was waiting for 7 long years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for people out there watching this morning who are in a similar position, waiting many years on the list, how do they, can anybody apply to them, or how does it work?
The information that I have been given is basically you have to go to your council, and when you go to your council, give them the information, and then they will patch through the work and the information to Clúid. But being very honest with you, more people should know about Clúid, simply because it is an organisation that can help.
Okay. The fact that they helped you is the reason why you're here to talk to us today, so that other people in your situation can find a place to live quicker.
Can benefit from their services. I put it to you this way. I was living in Dunmanway. I was doing it privately rented, and it was on the ground floor. It was a suitable accommodation, but not suitable location. Now I'm living in suitable accommodation that's safe and that's secure, very bright, and it's in Ballincollig, and I'm able to access things I need to access.
Well, listen, brilliant
and you're a
news.
happier person.
Oh yeah.
Well, listen, many thanks, Lisa, for coming on this morning. I'm sure there'll be people out there delighted to hear about this organisation, and best of luck with your new accommodation.
Thank you. Can I just ask if I could make a few thank yous to people?
Well, we're running out of time, but very quickly.
I need to thank Darcy's D2 in Ballincollig, the girls there. I need to thank the NCBI for all of their work. I greatly need to thank Clúid, and also lastly then D&N Furniture in Bandon for all of their help.
Okay. Thank you so much,
nice
Lisa.
Thank you.
Now, you at home may have a story for us on the show. If you do, here's how to get in touch.
If you've got a story you'd like to share,